Hello everybody, welcome to the Little Cup of Co-Pro. My name is Elise, Master Delator. Today I'm introducing Gemma and Jay. Gemma, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi. My name's Gemma Levi and I work at Suffolk County Council in the Public Health and Communities Directorate, and I look after poverty, health and behaviours, libraries, children and people.
Thank you, Gemma. Jay, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm Jay. I'm one of the community partners for Healthwatch Suffolk. Was 28 years with multiple addiction and 15 years street homeless. I'm now 4 years in recovery and run a small outreach programme helping struggling families and the homeless.
Thank you very much. So, just a bit about our project. So we're really aiming for that lived experience through our Suffolk project. We really want to listen to people's voices, and we think that they're the best voices to hear for the project and for potential outcomes which might happen as a result of this project at the end. So eventually we will have 15 people with lived experience, or our community partners, talking together, collaborating together, developing that bond before we bring in our civic partners, which will then help to find solutions and work together in a sort of collaborative way to support people from their own lived experience.
Now, I think it's a really important project because we know that poverty exists and we know that we need to do something about it, and being able to hear from people who have that experience, who understand what poverty means on a day-to-day basis, is really helpful and really useful to give us the ideas, the actions that we need to take as a system, as partners, as people who can adjust policies or services so that we can make a change that benefits the residents of Suffolk, because that's what we're here to do, is to support our residents and also be able to ensure that we improve their health. You know, this is about the public's health, and this is about us being servants to the population. So being able to use this project to inform how we can make changes is going to be really, really valuable to us.
So Jay, what's important to you? Why do you want to be a part of the project?
I think it's important because based on some of the work that I do in the community and some of my lived experience, we've seen people fall through the net for so long, where services that should be accessible to everyone haven't been because of the circumstances struggling households and individuals have found themselves in, either too afraid to ask for help or not know where to go or who to approach. So with what I've been hearing and what I've been involved in so far with Healthwatch, it's definitely a massive step in the right direction in helping people to overcome the difficulties surrounding cost of living and help them to move forward. Yeah, very positive.
That's good.
You touched a bit on access, and I think that's a really strong point for me, because I have a disability, and I really want to make sure that as project sort of co-ordinator that I am being as accessible, not just for disability but any other need, which is really, really valuable, because those voices don't often get heard.
No.
And these people don't often get asked their opinion, and I think that it's really important that we have a wide range, as much as possible, of people with different lived experiences in the project, as well as we've got a very, very diverse community in Suffolk, and we've got lots of rural and urban locations and coastal, which could all be very, very different, and I think that coming together could be really powerful.
I think that's a really good point, because poverty affects people in different ways. Your experiences of poverty differs, and it can affect affect your life outcomes, you know, and an adult's experience of poverty will be different to a child's experience of poverty, which will be different to a family living in rural or urban Suffolk, and culture will also play a part in that. So, you know, it's really important to have that diversity when, you know, capturing people's views and voices, to make sure that we consider all of those when we're thinking about what it is that we need to do as a system to make changes, to make it easier, to make sure that we're not discriminating, but actually supporting as much as we can to ensure that the, you know, the people of Suffolk, like you say, Jay, have, you know, have access and feel confident in asking, because that's a real big feature for many people. Is, you know, if you've been or experienced a life where no has been the common answer, having the confidence to question and ask and know what you can ask for is really, really important. So if this enables people to have more confidence, to learn that we are trying to listen, we're trying to make changes, and, you know, make sure that information is available as close to individuals and families as possible, then, you know, we'll try and do as much of that as we can.
And I think that goes to say with the whole creating safe spaces as well. I think that's really important for this project. We talk about building trust and building trust within communities, and I think that is such an important, that's going to play an important role in this project and really make sure that everybody feels comfortable. But I also think that as well as that, it's really important to notice that we're giving people opportunities, we're giving our community partners opportunities, like mental health training or working in groups, those skills that can help benefit you longer term, possibly get you into work, possibly help different scenarios, to improve things, to improve life chances. And I think that's a really important situation or an important role to be in. I think that's
yeah, I think a lot of assumptions are made, you know, outside the realm of mental health and disabilities. People kind of assume sometimes that just because you have mental health issues or you're disabled in some way, that by default you're automatically signed up to services or people that can help. But in actual fact, it's not until people feel safe in a particular environment that they feel confident enough to come forward and start talking about some of the troubles that they have. And that's when that's when accessibility becomes important, because once people have made that step, then that's up to the guys like us and GPs and such like to provide people with the necessary signposting for them to move forward. Yeah,
that's a really good point, and particularly because we noticed that when we were looking at developing the Tackling Poverty Action Plan and the Tackling Poverty Strategy, that we needed to work with organisations that had that trust with people, who could have the conversation in a confident, safe space to be able to tell us what it was and what it is that they need. Because if I went out and spoke to someone, it may not land because I haven't built up that trust with someone. It's different with a friend, but with someone that's accessing service, they don't know who I am, they don't know, you know, how I can help them, they haven't built up that relationship. But by working with some of those frontline organisations who could have the conversation, people were feeling more able to have that conversation and feed into that whole process around developing the strategy and action plan. And this work takes that another step further. And I think that's really valuable.
I think it gives people faith in what is then going to happen with that information, rather than it just be some endless questionnaire, or which just goes into you know, an anonymous set of statistics for someone. At the end of the day, that information is actually going to get used and then put forward into helping them. Yeah, definitely.
Having that direct conversation between people with lived experience or living the experience, and with those commissioners or those services directly is really valuable, as you say, as opposed to going through a questionnaire route and so on.
It's not the best way sometimes, is it?
No, it's definitely a good direct line of communication. It's good.
And I guess that's also why our project has chosen to sit under the co-production sort of area as well, as that whole thing about having people's voice heard and really listening to people and building that trust. These are all things that co-production does fantastically, I think. And we're very lucky to have such a good health watch helping us to do this. I think it's really special.
Yeah. It's a real good opportunity, absolutely, and it's something that I don't think that we've done to this level before in Suffolk, as far as I'm aware, or certainly, not something I've been involved in to this level before. So it's really exciting to see how this is going to develop over the coming years and then beyond.
Yeah.
That's
another point, is beyond what is going to happen after this project, because I think we talk a lot about, this is a 2-year long project, and actually it's going to be so much more than that, and it can be so much more than that through the process of co-production. Who knows where it's going to end up? It's very exciting. Yeah.